Good evening and welcome to the Lagos studios of IATV. I am Adegboyega Labiron with the news. Commissioner of the Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, Dr. Boboye Oyeyemi, has advised the Lagos State government to double our efforts to improve its intermodal system of transportation as a solution to traffic gridlock in Lagos State. Oyeyemi said this today at the Lagos State University, Ojo. He said that Lagos State was a good example of how the railway, innerways, pipeline, air transport system, among others, could operate as practiced globally. He said the problem of poor transportation system was as a result of infrastructure that could not match with the increasing population in the state. 10 years after the commencement of reconstruction works on the 10-lane Lagos-Badagry Expressway, the Lagos State government has flagged off the continuation of construction of some sections of the road. The road, which has been in bad condition according to the road users, had caused untold hardship to motorists, business owners and residents of communities along the stretch of the road. Performing the flag-off ceremony, the Lagos Deputy Governor, Obafemi Hamzat, said Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration will remain resolute in keeping faith with all its campaign promises to the people of Lagos State.
Again, start all over again from Agboju to Trade Fair. By the grace of God, that road will be completed this year. From Agboju to Trade Fair. That to 10 lanes. As you know now, before we pass through the road, so we see the state where it is. And then palliative measures will start from, of course, the Trade Fair all the way to Kokomaiko. So at least to make it more tolerable for our people. While the construction of the other part that takes us to Kokomaiko will continue.
The Deputy Governor also commended the federal government for its commitment as both the state and federal agencies will be present along the road up to Semeboda to ensure free flow of traffic during the construction.
So it's important to stress the cooperation between Lagos State government and the federal government of Nigeria. So today, FEMA has awarded the rehabilitation of Igbo-Eleri to Agbara. Now, that rehabilitation will maintain the 4 lanes, and the reason is clear. On that axis, you have pipelines, you have various infrastructures that we need to make sure is preserved. The Federal Ministry of Works has also awarded from Agbara to Semeboda. That will be 6 lanes.
Earlier in his remarks, the general manager of the construction company in charge of the project, Bill Bayan, spoke on the corporation's commitment to ensure that the project was completed on schedule. A Box Rapid Transit BRT driver, Theophilus Nsofo, today appeared before an Ikeja magistrate court for allegedly causing the death of a 25-year-old woman. The police charged Nsofo, who resides in Ijoko area of Ogun State, with reckless driving, manslaughter, and driving without a bus driver's license, vehicle license, certificate of roadworthiness, and insurance. The prosecution counsel, Inspector Victor Iruada, told the court that Nsofo committed the alleged offense on May 27 at Iyano Ikpaja Road in Lagos. The offense, he said, contravened the provision of sections 19, 172 and of the Road Traffic of Lagos State 2012 and admitted the defendant bail in the sum of 100,000 naira with one surety in like sum. The magistrate adjourned the case until July 24th. A federal high court sitting in Oshogbo has transferred a fraud case involving a father and his son, who are both lawyers, Matthew Laogun and Ayodele Laogun, to the Osun State High Court. The accused persons had been dragged before the court by the police for allegedly defrauding a medical doctor, Adeyemi Gbadebo, over the purchase of our landed property. During previous sittings, the Osun State Department of Public Prosecution had shown interest in the case and prayed the court to transfer it to the State High Court. The presiding judge, Justice Ayola Emmanuel, afterwards told the prosecution and defense counsel to file a written address to the court on what the case should be transferred or otherwise as applicable to them.
Any matter relating or grounded on land dispute to the court. The charge that is filed before the court is a criminal charge of advance fee fraud. It has nothing to do with any land dispute. Neither is the nominal complainant complaining that he has dispute on land with anybody. Justice will still be justice anywhere the matter is pushed to. What is important is that we have your evidence. We have evidence to prosecute the matter, and that is not in doubt. So we will wait until we get to the State High Court.
Reacting to the ruling, the prosecution counsel, Olajide James, expressed confidence that the transfer will not affect the prosecution and the substance of the case.
The transaction which the Federal High Court ordinarily does not have jurisdiction over. However, I am also aware that there is a Supreme Court decision that in considering the court that has jurisdiction to entertain a criminal charge, the court does not look at the transaction forming the charge, but looks at the nature of the charge itself. And the charge before the court is obtaining by false pretense, and it was brought under the advance fee fraud, which is a.
And now to Osun State. The Osun State Police Command has revealed that it had arrested one Habibullah Abdurrahman, an Islamic cleric in Ede, for allegedly defiling a 16-year-old girl learning Arabic in his school. Abdurrahman's arrest followed a petition by the Crescent Chamber, Ibadan, addressed to the Commissioner of Police, detailing how the cleric allegedly molested the victim. Sources claim that the cleric was being detained at the State Criminal Investigation Department, Oshogbo. Speaking with newsmen, Police Public Relations Officer in the state, Folashade Odoro, said the Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Ige, had directed full investigation into the matter. According to the petition written on behalf of the victim's family, a copy of which was obtained by our correspondent, the victim is a junior secondary school 3 student of a private school in Ede and has been living with her mother since the demise of her father 9 years ago. And now to Kwara State. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has expressed displeasure over the state of decay in government infrastructures across the state. He promised to tackle the challenges head-on. The governor stated this while on assessment tour of some government facilities in Ilorin at the State High Court and Sharia Court of Appeal, where he was conducted round by Chief Judge Justice Durosilon Kawu. The governor found roofs of some of the court buildings already blown off and some of the future damaged. The governor said fixing the decayed infrastructure will require proper planning that could span multiple budget years to fix.
A lot of neglect. The judiciary, being who they are, do not complain and do not talk. So unless you go physically to see, you would not appreciate the nature of things. Yeah. Well, we've told them to give us a memo on what they need immediately now, which we can attend to now under this budget, and then they'll also work on next year's budget to build capacity on that.
The judiciary, Ihade, will be given the support it needed to function as an independent arm of government. And now to business news. Some operators in Nigeria's oil sector have said that the payment of subsidy on the petroleum products by the federal government is hurting the growth of the industry and well-being of the country's economy. The operator, who spoke during the ongoing 2019 Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference in Abuja, called on industry players to speak up with one voice against the continued payment of subsidy on petroleum products. The Battle Group Chief Executive Officer of Oando PLC, Wale Tinubu, said the tone when he urged the incoming Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mele Kyari, to ensure that he provided industry with the required leadership. He added that removing subsidy on petroleum products will help the development of the downstream industry, which he said needed to be commercialized. The Maritime Workers Union formally commenced an industrial action today to register their displeasure about non-payment of government-appointed stevedores and dock workers by the international oil companies. ITV News visited the Nigerian Ports Authority and spoke with Comrade Uroje, a representative of the Maritime Workers Union. He explained the reason for the industrial action and efforts made by the Workers Union to avert the action. According to our global business and investment magazine, Forbes, Nigeria has been described as the choice destination for investors willing to lose their money. This description is not only applicable to investors, but indigenous workers who have not been paid their hard-earned wages at the maritime sector. IATV News visited the Nigerian Ports Authority at Papa, Lagos, where maritime workers were seen loitering around the main entrance.
It's because of the dispute we have with IOC, international oil companies operating in the maritime sector of this country. They violate all labor laws. They act with impunity. Sometime June last year, the Ministry of Transport through Nigerian Ports Authority appointed stevedores. They changed the old ones. They renewed their appointment. And ever since then, they do not pay them the wages of stevedoring, because most of the IOC, they have oil platform. And if you look at NIMASA Act of 2007, Section 27, it's very clear who is doing the job.
The Maritime Workers Union, after a 2-week notice to the Federal Ministry of Transportation, demanded for the payment of government-appointed workers being owed arrears of wages by the international oil companies. We spoke with Mr. Okoje, the Deputy Secretary General, who confirmed a 2-week notice was earlier given to the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Transportation, to prevail on the management of international oil companies to process and pay all outstanding bills to the government-appointed stevedoring contractors.
Our expectation is for this dispute to be resolved. Let the IOC pay the stevedore, because they issued them contract. And once you have been given a contract to execute, and you have workers in your pool, and the man that's supposed to pay you for the services is not allow you to do your work, you have to pay. So if they pay them, if they call distributors and pay them, not union, our members are the dock workers that work with them. So if they pay them, the matter is resolved.
This expectedly will enable dock workers receive their salaries and wages. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, led by Saudi Arabia, and the non-member countries of the organization, led by Russia, have signed a draft charter of cooperation in Vienna to further strengthen their partnership. The charter now replaces the declaration cooperation, which was reached in December of 2016 between the two groups. Speaking at the end of the 6th OPEC and non-OPEC ministerial meeting, the Venezuelan Minister of Petroleum, Salvador Fernandez, reaffirmed the continued commitment of the member countries to a stable oil market as stipulated in the cooperation. Fernandez said that the meeting focused on immediate prospects as well as collaborative efforts by OPEC member countries. And now the stock market report. Stockbrokers traded in a total of 237 million ordinary shares valued at 1.978 billion naira. At the close of trading today on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Morrison Nigeria PLC recorded the highest volume of trade with a total of 44.54 million ordinary shares valued at 24.05 million naira. UBA PLC came second on the activity chart with 34.11 million ordinary shares valued at 209.58 million naira. Unilever PLC led the pack of gainers with 130 kobo to close trading at 32 naira. WAPCO PLC came second on the gainers chart with a 75 kobo gain to close at 13 naira 25 kobo. The losers, on the other hand, Mobile PLC led the losers chart with a drop of 17 naira in its share value to close trading at 158 naira. Total PLC also dropped 3 naira in its share value to close trading at 148 naira. All share index closed trading at 29,375.25 points, all in 4,111 transactions, while market capitalization ended today's trading at 12.8 947 trillion naira. And that's the size of our package from the Lagos studios of IATV. I am Adegboyega Labiron, thanking you for staying with us, and I'm returning you to Ibadan for the rest of the news. Good evening.